This is Tim McMaster and Connor Hughes from the Can't Wait podcast, a show about the New York Jets. Denzel Mims has flashed in his first two NFL games, but he only had one target in his second half of game number 2. The future at wideout for the Jets, Connor, needs to get more action. What's going on with this team as far as usage in Mims?
I wish I could tell you, man. I wish I could give you the reasoning. I wish I could tell you why. I wish I could tell you but what this offense does week by week, day in and day out. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's the same reason why I don't understand why they're still running wide receiver screens on 3rd and 12. It's why I don't understand why Frank Gore is still this team's focal point in the run game in the second half. I don't know. You know, we saw Mims play in the first half of this game against the Chiefs. We saw him in the game against the Buffalo Bills a week ago. This guy is every bit of his 6'3", 207-pound frame. He's probably even a little thicker than that 207-pound frame. He is a physically imposing player. And what you saw on that 25, 28-yard grab that he made down the sideline against the Chiefs is this guy has a quality and a trait that not every NFL receiver does. He has the ability that when that ball is in the air to go and make a play. When the odds are against him, when the percentages say it's probably not going to happen, he has the physical talent and the physical capabilities to go up and make something happen. The Jets don't have players like that on their offense. They don't have anyone else with that ability. He is the one player worth a damn on this offense. And for them to say, that's a guy that has that ability. That's a guy that can turn a game around. This is a guy that you can just throw one up, see what happens, and there's a chance he's going to come down and make a play just because of his physical capabilities. He's the one player on offense that can do something like that. And you throw to him once in the second half? Once, Tim? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, the Jets are looking for playmakers. They're looking for ways to turn this around. They're looking for a spark. And the one player you have that can make that spark, that can turn the game around, that can just make a play, you give him one opportunity to do so, they should be throwing 50-50 balls to him 3 or 4 times in the second half. They should be doing things with the sole purpose of get the ball in this guy's hands. It does not make sense to me why they are not doing this, but nothing this offense makes sense to me anymore. And it's a slow bleed until the end of the season. But luckily, we're about to pull the plug in, 8 weeks now. So there's only so much more left of this.
You have a quarterback in Sam Darnold who's trying not to make mistakes. We want to see him throw some 50-50 balls up, but in the back of his mind, he's like, I've thrown bad passes and been burned by it. And then you have a head coach who would probably say, well, they were shading the defense over that way. How does this team get past those kind of mental blocks and just say, you know what, it's worth the risk because we're 0-8 and the receiver is the future? I mean, I know it's easy for you and me to say that, but how does the quarterback and the person calling the plays, whether it's Gase or Loggins, get to that spot mentally?
I think it actually a good example of it is you go to the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys game on Sunday night. You know, they're without Dak Prescott. They were without Andy Dalton. They were starting Ben DiNucci at quarterback, and Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels, the NBC broadcast team, they kind of made reference to it, is that the Cowboys said, you know what? We're going to have to get a little funky if we want to have a chance in this game. We're going to have to get a little creative. We're going to have to get a little tricky. We're going to have to do things that we don't normally do in order to try to steal a game that we're not supposed to win. The Jets are 0-8. The Jets are a bad football team. The Jets are not going to the playoffs. The Jets are led by kind of a lame duck coach because Adam Gase is not getting his job back next year. This is a bad football team. This is a bad football team that is going to need to try to just do things to be creative. And I think that's the new mindset they have to have. They need to stop thinking about this like they are 6-3 and fighting for the AFC East. You know, they need to stop. They need to basically say, you know what? On every punt team, we need to go for the punt block. On every 4th and 2, we need to go for it. And we're going to open the game with flea flickers, and we're going to try wide receiver. We're going to have to try to get funky and creative. And it is a mindset switch, like you said, but they just need to make that switch because what they're doing right now isn't working. Playing the way they are playing is not working. It's time to get a little different. And it's time to just, when you need something to happen, it's not about throwing the wide receiver screen to Braxton Berrios. It's not about throwing the quick slant to Jeff Smith. It's about saying, I have a 6'3", 210-pound wide receiver who I drafted in the second round who has game-breaking potential lined up outside. He's one-on-one coverage against I don't care who. I'm going to give my guy a chance to play better than the guy in front of him. I'm going to give my guy a chance to make a play. And if that means a pick, at least we're going down swinging, because right now what the Jets are doing, they've got their hands in front of their face and they're just taking jabs every play and getting blown out. It was a 35-9 final score, Tim. They were never in it. They had a chance in the second half to try to get back in it, and instead they played passive. And that's just, it's not working. It hasn't worked the last year and a half, and it's not working now. You got to make a change.
Thank you for listening. The Athletic is the world's fastest growing sports media publication. Get in-depth stories you can't find anywhere else. Visit theathletic.com/Google to join for just $1 a week and ask your Google Assistant to play the latest episode of the Can't Wait podcast.